History is written by the victors. But sometimes history isn't rewritten, it's erased. For centuries, we've been told the Middle Ages were inevitable, a 1,000-year pause in human progress, a dark chapter between the glory of the ancient world and the rise of modern civilization. But what if that darkness wasn't natural? What if humanity was already racing toward an age of machines, medicine, astronomy, and engineering long before modern Europe? And what if one event stopped it all? A destruction so catastrophic that some historians still call it one of the greatest losses in human history. The Library of Alexandria, not just a building, not just scrolls, but the greatest concentration of human knowledge the ancient world had ever assembled. And when it disappeared, so did ideas that may have changed the future forever. Today, we uncover the lost secrets linked to Alexandria that might have pushed civilization centuries, maybe even millennia ahead of its time. Imagine living in the Roman Empire. Stone roads, massive armies, gladiators, sailing ships, slave labor powering entire economies, nearly 1,700 years before the Industrial Revolution. Meet Hero of Alexandria, a mathematician and engineer living in the 1st century AD. He designed a device called the Ecliptales, often described as the first known steam-powered machine, a hollow sphere mounted over boiling water. As steam escaped, it rotated. Simple, elegant, and revolutionary. Modern historians often dismiss it as a novelty, but that explanation feels incomplete. He created automatic doors that opened using heat and pressure, mechanical theater systems, coin-operated machines, programmable devices, in other words, automation. The underlying principles were already there: pressure, motion, mechanical control, and repeatable systems, the building blocks of industrial technology. The question is, why didn't it continue? Was it economics? After all, why build machines when slave labor was abundant and cheap? Or was there simply no incentive to disrupt a system already benefiting the elite? Imagine Roman factories powered by steam, mechanized agriculture, automated transport, a machine revolution before the fall of Rome. History could have looked completely different, but that future never came, and Alexandria may have held the missing steps. Now imagine entering an ancient Alexandrian medical school, not mystical healers, not superstition, but anatomical research, centuries before modern medicine. Here enters Herophilos, often called the father of anatomy. He studied the nervous system and argued something radical. The brain, not the heart, was the center of intelligence. At a time when many civilizations believed emotion and thought came from the chest, this was revolutionary. He studied nerves, organs, pulse rates, and anatomy with surprising accuracy. Alexandrian scholars documented surgery, herbal compounds, and wound treatment. Some ancient accounts reference sedative mixtures used to reduce pain. Others suggest advanced botanical knowledge for infection treatment. Not modern anesthesia, nor not modern antibiotics. A knowledge century ahead of expectation. And then, much of it vanished. After Alexandria's decline, Europe entered long periods where anatomical progress slowed dramatically. Medical knowledge became fragmented, preserved only in pieces. How many treatments were lost? How many discoveries had to be painfully rediscovered? How many lives could have been saved? The answers burned with the scrolls. Then came an artifact so strange, it changed everything. In 1901, sponge divers discovered a shipwreck near the Greek island of Antikythera. Inside was a corroded bronze object, broken gears and metal fragments. But after decades of study, researchers realized something astonishing. The Antikythera Mechanism exists over 2,000 years old. A machine capable of predicting eclipses, lunar cycles, planetary motion, and astronomical events. a mechanical calculator from antiquity. Its complexity shocked scientists. Nothing comparable would appear again for over 1,000 years. Think about that. Ancient engineers built a device so sophisticated it looked technologically misplaced, like it belonged to another era. And this is just the one artifact we found, one survivor, one machine that escaped history. What other mechanisms were described in scrolls now reduced to ash? How advanced was the Alexandrian school of mechanics? The Antikythera device suggests a world far more technologically ambitious than we were taught, and maybe far more advanced than we're comfortable admitting. Alexandria wasn't only home to mathematicians and astronomers. Also a laboratory, a center of experimentation in chemistry and metallurgy. Ancient scholars studied minerals, acids, alloys, pigments, dyes, and reactive substances. One of history's greatest mysteries may connect to this world. Greek fire, a legendary substance said to burn even on water, nearly impossible to extinguish. Its exact composition remains unknown to this day. Imagine possessing a chemical formula so powerful that centuries later, nobody can fully recreate it. Now imagine how many other formulations existed. Medicines, metals, pigments, preservatives, fuel mixtures, and industrial compounds. Knowledge hidden in fragile scrolls. One fire doesn't just destroy information, it destroys continuity. Science is cumulative. Break the chain and progress resets, but long enough to change history. But Alexandria's most mind-bending secret may have been above our heads. Meet Aristarchus of Samos. Centuries before mainstream acceptance, he proposed a radical model. Earth revolved around the sun, not the other way around. A heliocentric universe, roughly 1,800 years before Nicholas Copernicus. An ancient astronomer had already challenged humanity's central place in the cosmos. Alexandria brought together scholars from Egypt, Greece, Persia, India, and beyond. Astronomy wasn't casual observation, it was rigorous mathematics, cataloging, prediction, and measurement. If that momentum had continued uninterrupted, what would happen? Better navigation, improved calendars, earlier physics and advanced mathematics, possibly even earlier scientific revolutions, not moon landings by the year 1000. That's a fun sci-fi leap. History is usually less dramatic. Still, humanity's understanding of the universe could have accelerated dramatically. Instead, much was lost, and civilization had to climb the mountain again. The tragedy of Alexandria wasn't just burned books, it was burned possibilities. Entire branches of knowledge interrupted, questions postponed for centuries. Maybe Alexandria wouldn't have created a futuristic utopia, but it clearly represented something extraordinary. A civilization obsessed with collecting, preserving, and expanding knowledge. And when that system collapsed, humanity lost more than paper. We lost momentum, and that may be history's most expensive loss. So here's the question. How different would your life be if humanity had never lost Alexandria? Would medicine be centuries ahead? Would technology have arrived earlier? Would our understanding of the universe be completely different? Tell me which lost secret fascinates you most. Comment reset if you think Alexandria changed history more than we realize. And subscribe to Ecliptales for more forgotten civilizations, hidden mysteries, and lost knowledge buried beneath history.